So after getting the brakes all put back together and did a little more research and figured out exactly how the parking brake mechanism is supposed to work, and we never could figure out how you're supposed to push the clutch pedal and the brake pedal down at the same time and stop and get going. Well, the clutch pedal is supposed to engage this lever after you start to depress the clutch pedal. You're supposed to adjust this to actually hit right like it is, but adjusted down. And as you push the clutch down, then at a certain, I forget the measurement, I'll have to go back and look, but there's a measurement that you get about a ½ inch of free travel here that I didn't have. Had a lot of slop, but no, it was just slop. It's loose. The clutch lever is loose back here. It's wore, but we can live with it. Jam that up against it tight, but then as you push down on the clutch, it pushes on this lever on the brake arm that comes over here that's supposed to push down on your brake at the same time that you're pushing down on the clutch pedal. Well, we never could get the clutch rod off up there when we were working on the brakes, and just decided to leave it. So we took it loose up here at the other end every time that we were messing with it. Decided to go ahead and try to get the slop out and get it adjusted right, make sure and see if we get it to work. Well, had to heat and heat and heat just with the propane. I didn't use acetylene on this because the pin was seized in there on both sides. I'll get that all cleaned up, get that off, and wire brush it, wire wheel it and all. But then got the pin out, and that's probably where a lot of the slop was coming from. A little bit wore. Didn't even have a cotter key in it or cotter pin or anything. It was just jammed in there, wouldn't come out. Pried on it, tried to hammer on it. It was in there. So I'm gonna get a new pin for it. Can't get a pin, may just get a grade 8 bolt, jam in there, and I don't know, probably try to find one with a castle nut, put a cotter pin through it or something. But that's the pin that goes through here, and it's wore because of it's wore on that lever on the arm right there is where it's wore. So that's where a lot of the slop was coming from. So get that tightened up, and then that will eliminate some of the slop we're getting from up here. It's good and tight down here, and then try to get it adjusted. And I know this has always been springy, and either I'll waller out one of those holes to drop it down, or may just heat that up a little bit and twist it to get this floorboard down. And then that way when you push on the clutch pedal, it will go all the way down to get full travel on the clutch arm. So just kind of tinkering with it. It's been raining off and on here, and Isaac's in the woods hunting, so I thought I'd just tear into this real quick, and he wanted to wait and do the front tire and tube with me, so we'll do that here in a day or two. But that's what I'm working on. So got Rusty put back together. I think I've got everything adjusted pretty good. Got my free travel. Got some free travel. Still a little wobbly, but when you're on there, it works good. And whenever you push down on the clutch, kind of hard to do with the hand. Right there, it actuates the brake lever. And I actually had to back off the adjusters a little bit. I adjusted both sides. This side, I think, has probably got some oil on it. It looked like there was some seeping out around the drum on this side. The pedal's pretty spongy feeling. I got that adjuster loosened up, had to heat it the other day and got them adjusted up. And this one, got it adjusted up a little too tight, so I had to back it off. And right now, it's adjusted. The brakes look brand new. The adjuster was froze. I don't even know if the brakes have been used on this side. And the way I've got them adjusted is when you stand down on the clutch pedal, you can get it in gear and out of gear, and you know there's no issues with the clutch adjustment. But I can actually get this tire right here to lock up on the gravel. So the brake definitely works on that side. This side's still a little spongy, but I think I adjusted it up, so it works pretty good now. I got that heated up and loosened the other day. It's got a lot of slop in it, but I think it'll work for a little while. We still got our oil seeping out of the PTO. There's our new pin on our, I don't know, lift rod or lower rod or whatever. The ball's got a little slop, but that's okay. This side's leaking a little bit. Not gonna worry about it. It's tight. Not gonna mess with it. A little bit of oil is pretty cheap compared to the time and labor to pull it all off. That'll be something to do down the road. Took that loose and packed it with some aluminum foil. It's helped, but it's still leaking a little bit. Took this whole exhaust pipe off, and what it is it's almost bent. It sweeps up, and almost need to heat it or pinch it and bend it, because this is sitting like that, where the cone goes up on the cone in the manifold, and it needs to be down, bent forward a little bit. It's swept back, and it's not lining up perfectly in there. It's better, but still not perfect, but it is better. So really, that just been tinkering today, and what I ended up doing over here on this clutch linkage, I had mentioned to get a grade 8 bolt if I couldn't get a pin. The lever back here on this clutch actuator rod, or where the rod goes in to the clevis back here, the hole is actually a little bit worn, and I got to thinking, with a hardened pin or a grade 8 bolt, I would rather wear out just a grade 5 or just a zinc coated grade 2 or something, and actually have this wear than wear out the cast iron part of the original tractor. So basically, everything in here, I put washers to help that cotter pin. It's a 3/8 bolt, long bolt, long shank, that the shoulder, and I cut the threads off, drilled a hole, and basically it's a consumable that I want everything here to wear down or wear out. And if I got to replace this every couple of years because it gets worn and gets sloppy, I'd rather do that and save all the original parts. This arm comes down with the hole that this pin would go through is wallered out. So I'm trying to save it as long as I can and put a softer bolt through it. Just basically, I made a hex-headed pin is what I did, and drilled it, cotter pin, got a washer on both sides, and just if it wears up, then I'll put a new one in there. So trying to save the original equipment and consume up the cheap Chinese crap. So that's kind of what we did, or I did. Noticed, had it out when Isaac was driving the other day, that had a little fuel seeping here on the airplane overhead. Snugged that up. It was just a little bit loose right there, so got the fuel on now, and it's all good and dry. Bent the pedal, heated that up, bent this down to where it's flat on there now. That way you get full travel on the clutch pedal. And that's just kind of what I've been doing today. It's kind of been a rainy, nasty day, and Isaac's hunting, so I thought I had time to tinker. And let's see. There you go. Getting a little bit of generator chatter. I don't know, pulley or bearing, got a little wobble. Not gonna worry about it. It ain't broke, I ain't gotta fix it. So that did help a little bit on that exhaust leak, but still leaking just a little bit. So better than it was. And that's just sitting there at idle and hitting the starter button. Just pops right off and idles. I do think her muffler may be getting a little bit rotted out. Definitely got a little bit more tone to it, but that's okay. Isaac wants to put a cherry bomb on it, so I think we'll just leave it like it is. There's Rusty on a windy, cool, drizzly Saturday afternoon. He's doing pretty good. Whenever you push down on this one, it stops you, plus brakes come on. And I backed that one off about a quarter turn because I didn't really want it to lock up. I may have to tighten it back up a little bit. And then with the right side, if you're creeping just a little bit, you just rest your foot down on it and you stop. Creeping a little bit, then push down. Hey, they do pretty good. It's not going to stop like power brakes, but definitely better than it was. Because this one here wouldn't even hardly work. It was all froze up, so then got plenty of travel on the clutch pedal down here, moving the arm and everything. Actually push down and get the brakes to work that way. We'll slide it still. Stand up on it. There it did. Let's see here. Kind of jerky doing this. It'll definitely stop you. I think it's adjusted good enough. Get them back down here. Definitely sounds a little bit better. Packing that with foil. Didn't fix it. It was definitely better. Pretty good oil pressure, almost 30 pounds. Started up cold about 20 and it warms up, it'll go up to about 30. A little bit different, I figured it'd be the other way around. But that's what he does. Got the generator set to hopefully put out just what we're using, nothing extra, don't want to overtax it. I got it turned all the way down. So throttle linkage, you go wide open and it's still binding up on the choke. I haven't done anything with it yet. Might tinker with this, see if I can figure out why it's doing that or what's bent. I may have to take that choke rod off and bend it a little bit and massage it to not have interference. So he's just sitting here idling. I just love shutting it off and starting to back up. There's Isaac's new ignition switch he put in. And before, you just take it and just kind of wiggle the key and it would sputter and cut out and had a short somewhere in the key. Just turn it on and pops right off. So I love this old tractor. I just want to go drive it around. I'm glad you all are enjoying watching the adventure and bringing life back to them. I'll get that tire put on.